So another part of Addison's disease is redesigning your life to support what's happening in your body. Now, there's a lot of negatives that can be a part of that, but there's also a lot of positives that I have found, and that's what I want to focus on today, is the positive changes that I've had to make to support my body that are pretty cool. So there's so many things that you have to do to readjust your life, and I talked about it a little bit in my last video about how I've had to readjust some career choices that I've made and transition from performing in theater and teaching children's yoga, and how actually, really, in all honesty, starting in June, for the first time ever in my entire life, I won't have like a career, which is fine, and I'm gonna figure it out. But the other things that I've had to change are actually not things that you see all the time, not like the day-to-day, but little things that I've been adding up and putting together. So main things that I've been having to change are cleaning up my diet, which I feel like I already had a really, really clean diet to begin with, but when things aren't working in your body and your body's basically a machine, whatever you're putting in is either going to support the machine or make the machine malfunction. So being diagnosed with a chronic illness gives you this like hyper-tuned sensitivity to what you're actually putting in and doing to your body. Everything's just so much more valuable. Time, energy, everything is so valuable. So you're so careful about it. And when you make careful choices that are positive for your body, it feels really good. So I had to even more clean sweep my diet, and so I eat really clean, really raw, as best as I possibly can. AIP and cracked my own food code using my friend Tandy's food code elimination diet, and found it works for me. So I'm eating this clean, real food, which helps my body feel awesome and supports every aspect, my mood, my emotions. I have also really set a really awesome routine for myself day to day that helps me stay with the flow and stay connected to my body. That's what I'll say. I will say I've always felt like I'm pretty in tune with my body, especially as I was trained as an actor and as a dancer, but I feel more hyper in tune with my body, more so now that I'm sick, than I ever did before. So I feel like this chronic illness actually forced me to really focus in on everything that's happening in my body and gave me, it feels like superpowers. Like if something's off even in the most minuscule way, I can feel it immediately, and I know there's going to be ramifications. So this hypersensitivity forces me to be on high alert and be really sensitive and careful about what's going on. Brain fog. I have, my time. That's really valuable now. So I am actually really careful about what I do with my time and say no to things, which is pretty empowering and pretty cool. I was always a yes person, take on all projects, do everything to make everyone else happy, regardless of how it made me feel. And now I'm putting my time and energy first and saying no to things. And that's conserving my spoons, and it conserves my body, and it makes me happier as well. Plus I have just all this more energy to do things, which is really great. So my time I've conserved, which has been really fun, but also who I spend my time with as well. There are a lot of people in this world. Not all of them are incredibly pleasant or positive to be around, and that's okay. We all have different varieties of people in our life, but when you have a chronic illness, I have found that you slowly start to peel away the people who don't lift you up, and only surround yourself by those that make you feel better or support you in your new body. It's the other thing too, is like when you are diagnosed with a chronic illness, you kind of find out who your people are, because some people don't want to stick around for it. Some people don't want to talk about it. They're pretty uncomfortable. And some people don't understand that your priorities have changed, or that you have to do things differently because you don't look sick, you look the same. So it's hard for them to understand. And so you can just let those people go by the wayside. You didn't really need them anyway. And start aligning your time with people who resonate with you and support you and make you feel good. So that's another positive change. I've slowly been letting people and relationships dissipate that don't lift me up and surround myself with really positive, wonderful people. I've also gotten really into my magical side, which is really fun. I've always considered myself to be a mermaid and be a fairy and a magical person. Doesn't everybody? I feel like everyone should if they're not. But after being diagnosed, having magical things and tangible things to hold on to really resonated with me, like crystals and saging and creating a sacred space for myself and immersing myself in nature for meditation. And it all just kind of heightened and became this really beautiful, I don't want to say ritual, but it is kind of like ritualistic of like all these beautiful things and like having all my pieces with me where I go, and it's just makes me feel more magical, which is pretty an amazing feeling. I have always been a nature person. I want to be in nature all the time. Grew up in the Pacific Northwest where we were at the beach or skiing or swimming and hiking all the time, to the point where actually for a while was like, am I going to be an adventure guide when I grow up, or am I going to be an actor? This was like tiny little 11-year-old Vanessa, and I chose actor, but like adventure guide was pretty close. And with a chronic illness initially being diagnosed, my heart was pretty broken because I was like, I can't backpack as much as I used to. And I personally always wanted to do the Pacific Crest Trail, the Continental Divide Trail, and the Appalachian Trail, through hike each of those. With a chronic illness, makes it a little bit more challenging and not necessarily possible at this point. But it's helped me redesign how I go out into nature, which is pretty cool. When I go out, I obviously have to pack all my snacks and bring all my goodies and extra salt and extra medicine and really be mindful about my time out there. But that's just it. I'm really mindful about my time out there. It's such a treasure to be immersed in nature, even for like 30 minutes, that every second I'm there and I'm present and I'm fully engrossed. I think that's my main discovery with this chronic illness, is that I am so present in my body in the moment, so much more than I ever was. And you can think that you live that way, or I thought that I lived that way, especially being a yogi the majority of my life and teaching yoga for so long. You teach it and you speak it, but I didn't realize that I wasn't really fully applying it to my body until being diagnosed. So it sounds really crazy, but I feel like I'm so much happier now that I'm diagnosed, because I feel like I'm really present in my body and grateful for my body and happy for my body every single day for everything that allows me to do, even on the pain days. Because like today I have pain, but I'm so happy to have a body and be a person and feel what's happening in my body. Being present is a total gift, and I'm so grateful for it. Yeah, there's a lot of positive and negatives to anything. And, I will say another positive that I just love is salt. I love salt, and I know it's just because I have Addisons, but I love that I can have all the salt I want all the time. That makes my heart so happy. Little victories. We'll take them. Yeah, so there are positive changes with this as well. Yeah.